Hey, this is Mr. Coker with Algebra Lesson 4.3, the compound interest formula. So, with the compound interest formula, this is it, and this is what it says. A equals P times the quantity of 1 plus R divided by N to the power of N times T. That sounds very complicated, but it's not, because in any problem you'll be given the numbers, and you can put those numbers in a calculator. So for the compound interest formula, I want to start by just explaining what these numbers mean. A is your total. That's the total amount that you're paying. So in our example, you will probably not be given this. This is probably what you're finding. And in the example I do on the board, that's what I'm going to be finding. P is the principal. That's the starting amount. So let's say that you're earning interest in like in a bank account or something that's compounded some number of times a year. P would be the amount you start with, that's the starting amount, the principal. 1 plus R. R is the interest rate. Now, we're going to put that as a decimal, not as a percentage. Of course, we're going to put it as like 0.0 or something, or point something, whatever. N shows up twice. N is the number of times it's compounded in the given time period. And T is the time period. Now, we're going to write this out. Let's assume we have the following problem. Let's have a principal of $3,000 and an interest rate let's call it 2.5%. And let's say that it is compounded twice a year, I'll call it. Probably be more than that in real life, I think. But I'm not worried about it. I was going to write compounded twice a year, not putting equals anything. And let's say 5 years, not 10 years. Call it 10 years. I was making some numbers up. I don't know what the answer is going to be, but we'll find out. This is our problem. Or this is our information, but we're going to turn it into a problem, and then we're going to solve the problem. So, first thing we're going to do, we need to find A. A equals. First thing we're going to do is start with the principal, of course, 3,000. Parentheses 1. And now we need the interest rate. Well, if you look at the interest rate, hopefully you notice that it's 2.5%. How do I turn that into a decimal? Well, this is how you do it. This is our percent. Remember that percentages are based out of 100. 100 has 2 zeros. Therefore, when we turn it to a decimal, we move it from a percent to a decimal. We move the decimal 2 places to the left. Make a new decimal. This decimal was moved 2 spots to the left. We have a blank space. Well, what do I do if I have a blank space? I fill it in with a 0. So our decimal is now 0.025. Got that? The reason I'll be at 2.5% was I want to make clear you're not just going to, your decimal doesn't always have to have, like, you're not going to put like 0.25. It's okay to go to multiple decimal places, to go to like 3 or more decimal places if the problem calls for it. It's compounded twice a year. How many times per year? Remember, T is the time period, or it's the number of time periods, which is 10 years. N is the number of times per time period that it's compounded. Here is 2. It's 2. So now I'm going to write, and I close the parentheses, I'm going to write my exponent, n times t. N, we said twice. By the way, I should underline this. Twice, of course, meaning 2 times. 2 times 10 years, so 2 times 10. This is your problem, and this can go in a calculator. Now I don't have a good calculator here, so I'm going to put it in a phone calculator. I'm actually curious how well I can use a phone calculator for this. I'm not 100% convinced that it's going to do order of operations. This is where I wish I could just edit it and say, Actually, I don't think it will. I don't think it. I don't know for sure if it will do what I'd like it to, which is order of operations. Maybe. And this is what I get. As long as the order of operations worked, which I'm going to double check. Notice it's going up. This works both ways. I do wish I had an actual calculator, of course, but whatever. I do think Lane. So I'm wasting video time putting this in my little calculator. This is why I wish I could edit these very well. I'm going to start by, I'm going to do it by hand now, make sure that it did, because the number looks too big to me. So I'm going to put 0.025 divided by 2 in my calculator, then add 1 to it, and I get 1.0125. Now I'm going to put that to the power of 2 times 10, which is 20. I get 1.28 and a bunch of stuff. Now I'm going to do that times 3,000. Hey, it works. Good. Same answer. So, this is correct. And good to know my calculator, my phone calculator actually does order of operations. That's nice. Anyway, that's all there is in compound interest formula. Just to go over it again, P is the principal, R, and I'm going to actually circle these. PR, this is the N stands for number, and T is, of course, that's time, or time periods, really. And that's it. In compound interest formula, as long as you know what you're doing, compound interest formula, well, I do not say that. As long as you have this compound interest formula, and a calculator. Compound interest formula, easy, easy, easy. So, thanks for watching.